fuel versus EV, which is electric vehicles, versus CNG. My humble opinion. Not humble. To be honest, my arrogant, unapologetic opinion. How can you be buying EV cars in a country where grid used to fall every other day? I'm even surprised it's light. Again, I'm not so surprised. But you know the kind of country we live in. You're buying electric, full electric. Full electric. That means, God forbid, your car should stop in a place, in a distance that is far away from the place where you're supposed to charge it. You're basically going to tow that car. I've seen a Tesla that was towed. It was not towed, it was basically lifted onto, this kind of truck that actually delivers cars. It was lifted onto that because it was not towed. I think the electric doesn't even allow it to be towed, like where the bonnet is being held up and then the back tire just rolls. I don't know, but it was basically lifted. It was a Tesla. How can you be buying an electric car in a country, even whether it's band A or band B? We're talking about the grid will collapse. You know this for a fact. A month will not pass before grid collapse or something happen, or one nonsense situation will happen. If it's not grid, then maybe within your vicinity there will be some, what do you even use to call it? Is it feeders? Yes. You see AECD, you say feeders serving those areas are bad. What do you mean by feeders? Is this poultry or whatever? I know they have their own useless term, but I'm trying to say, why would you at a time like this, in a country like this, actually depend on electricity to run a vehicle? It doesn't make any sense. And besides, those things, the distance it covers, it also doesn't make sense. As a personal person using the car, like for a personal purpose, perfect. Okay, you drive from here to work and drive back and, little errands. When you do ride sharing, it's not for you, bros. Do you know the distance you travel? When you come up for ride sharing, it's like driving from Abuja to Port Harcourt. That takes around no less than 15 to 18 hours to get to Port Harcourt from Abuja, right? So you honestly cannot think that an EV car that has per charge, it will take you from maybe 200 to 400 kilometers. That's the most it can do. Then it dies. Then you have to stop somewhere and charge it before it picks up again and start going. It's not for the Nigerian economy, not just yet. Not just yet. Forget what it is about this rubbish ad where everybody's like, you're saving zero fuel, zero emission. Do you really care about the environment? We think concern you with emission. You should, by the way. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but you know that's not the reason you're buying the EV car. Because in your head, you think you are wise by buying EV, so that all this your fuel wahala. I beg, I don't want fuel wahala. Don't worry, EV will teach you a lesson. Somebody told me that BYD, that he knows somebody who has parked the car in the house because the thing basically has faults and they don't know how to fix it. There are no mechanics around. I don't know if BYD even has a service center in Nigeria. And you are buying an electric vehicle. Wait first. If you want, go and meet us. Let him do something for you from start to finish, and maybe drive it in Anambra there. It's Anambra, I think it's a yes. New is in Anambra. So drive it there. I'm sure he has repair people, service centers, and things like that, just in case. But for the business, it's not good. I tell you, simple and short. It's not, don't buy any electric vehicles. It's not wise. Okay? Until they have charging stations everywhere. Not everywhere, but at least a reasonable amount of places, and not places where you have to come and queue again. Because that's the problem with these things. The moment they have one charging station, you'll probably have three in the entire city. And then everybody with their EV cars are queuing, waiting for the first person to run down their own, I don't know if it's 40 minutes now, how long it takes to charge. Then the next person will then move and start waiting again. What are you doing? It's the same thing you were doing with the fuel. In fact, now the fuel thing, you don't even have to wait because there's fuel everywhere. It's just costly. And now it's even dropping little by little. So, Very soon it will look like a very stupid decision, because with your fuel vehicle, you fill up once, you can run through the entire day on ride sharing, the entire day. In fact, I'm even talking about Sunday, because on Sunday maybe you can go like 20 hours, but on, not 20 hours, Jesus, that's a lot, or maybe 18 hours or 15 hours. You can go the whole day, right? But on EV, you can't. You can't. No, okay, let's even talk about CNG for a bit. The last time we were talking about CNG, I was like, you need like twice. You need to fill up twice or three times in a day. Once or twice, sorry. Again, it depends on how long you're willing to walk. Because those things also have a distance of just 250 to 3. Do you know how long 300 kilometers is? Let me paint you a picture. If you're in Abuja, if you go from EFAB in Lokogoma all the way down to Kubwa, you are around 40 kilometers. All right, 40 to 50, depends on where in Kubwa. Okay, let me be more specific. If you go from EFAB in Kubwa all the way to ADC something estate. Okay, Brick City Estate in Kubwa. If you go all the way to Brick City, I think it is no less than 50 kilometers. I think it is no less than that. All right, I could be wrong, but I'm sure I'm not far off. I think it's around 50 kilometers. So let's say you do that, and for a trip like that, let's say you got 8,000, 9,000, 12,000 if you're lucky, whatever. So by the time you're done with a trip like that, that's 50 kilometers. Now you just do it again like 6 times, and that basically covers maybe like 6 hours or 5 hours, actually 5 hours, and that's it. Your CNG is gone. A person who has fuel, by the time you've gone to queue up for CNG, because have you seen the queue on CNG in Abuja now? I don't know other places, but in Abuja, have you seen the queue for the CNGs? It looks ridiculous. And again, how will you do CNG that requires fuel to start it? What is that? You want to do CNG, again, go to Innocent. Tell him to do CNG, proper CNG from start to finish, so that when they pump the thing into your tank or into your cylinder, it basically carries you the entire day. It's built for it. It's not you start with fuel, then you go, then you switch. In all of this thing now, you're thinking it's a wise decision, because you're thinking, let that fuel drop. You know, the fuel is dropping little by little. When the fuel drops even further, you realize that you are, of all men, I don't want to be very expressive in my word, but it's not a very wise decision as much as you would think. Okay? CNG, I wouldn't really advise it for you. But go for it, my guy, if you must. Go for EV, if you must. But I can tell you, fully and completely, in my own opinion, I think fuel is still the most reliable source in terms of ride sharing. You want to do CNG, maybe you're going to work and coming back, but you're not doing ride sharing. You want to do EV, maybe you're just using it to move from here to there, but not ride. Ride sharing is rugged, it is rough. It requires a lot of movement in a day. I've always felt like the work I do on a Sunday is like driving from north to south. Like if I was a transporter, like if I was moving from North Abuja now to like Port Harcourt or Lagos or Bayelsa, something like that. That's how long it takes. That's how much on the road I am. Entering bad road, coming out from bad road, entering express, speeding, stopping, all of it. It's the same thing. And the difference is the transporters don't even do it like back to back. Like the next day they don't start coming back, and at least they take a day to rest. But you, maybe not. I would always maintain that the best idea for the business right now, especially now the fuel is also dropping, is it still has to be fuel. EV doesn't make sense to me one bit, unless maybe you live in like Uganda, what is it called, Burkina Faso, Ghana, places where there's light. Yeah, okay, fine. EV is fine. Because for sure, you know you're going to charge it. You know you will see the light to charge it, so no problem. But not in Nigeria. Not in Nigeria. You find this thing like you don't have. Please don't let any market confuse you. Okay, you don't have light in Nigeria. EV doesn't make sense until they have charging stations all over the place, and EV begins to make sense. But at the moment, please stay with your fuel. Try and get a 1 liter, 1.3 liter engine. This vehicle, I don't want to do ad for them, but GAC, I think it's GS3. Probably it's an SUV, but the engine is 1.3 liter engine. Consumption per 100 kilometer is 7 liters. That's actually impressive. Like that's the same thing as your Camry Big Daddy, and yet it's a very luxury car. 1.3 liter engine. Just go for the cars that have the least amount of consumption, and I think you'll be good in ride sharing. All right. So don't go and put your head where you can't really understand.